Good.
This time of year coming in for the early days of the off-season program, what does it mean to you? What are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah, it means a lot to me. Just not only getting dialed in with the playbook, making sure I got everything down, but just getting together with the guys in the locker room, throwing a little bit, working out, just kind of a reacclimation period.
Well, last year when you came in, it was basically learning the offense, game plan to game plan.
Yep.
So now do you just you start over again?
Yeah, definitely. I start from square one as if it's my first day and I don't know anything, and just trying to learn as much as possible. But yes, it's nice to be able to start from square one and getting right with Coach Turner and making sure it's not just learning the plays, but learning every single detail of the positions.
Change how you approach this season?
My approach will be the same. I'll still just try to get as big, strong, fast as I can, and mentally just, like I said, caught up with every position.
Is this your normal pattern where you spend the full off-season program with the team, or is it different this year because of the mid-season trade?
Yeah, I've always shown up. I like breaking it up and coming here and being where I'm going to play and really honing in on football for a little bit, and then I'll do more strength and conditioning stuff in my own individual time.
Is that what you did in Carolina as well? You would come every day?
Yep. Yeah, in Carolina, we always had similar. I'm learning a new offense, but we always had different coaches come in. So I think I had 5 coordinators in 5 years, so I was always learning the plays.
What's the first thing you told Sam Darnold about this offense when he was looking to come here?
I told him it's fun. I got a lot of weapons and an unbelievable mind calling plays. He already knew all that stuff, though. He had watched all the tape, and he was a fan from afar, so he was fired up to get here.
What kind of quarterback are the Niners getting, Sam?
Sam's great. He can do everything. He can make any throw. He's smart. He's able to pick up things quickly and do his job. Doesn't play beyond anything, and just does exactly what he's told all the time, and then adds a lot of flair to it too. I got the privilege to play with Sam. Not enough, unfortunately. I had some injuries, but he's another guy too who's just a gamer, and he's tough as hell. He's played through a lot and never made excuses, so happy he's here.
Speaking of Sam, I saw you courtside at the Warriors game, sitting there with him the other day. What's your investment level like right now with the NBA playoffs, and how much you enjoy it?
It's been fun to watch. It's been really fun to watch. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. Being able to see those guys up and close is impressive. I think you forget how big, strong, and fast these dudes are and how athletic they are. So it was a lot of fun, and watching guys like Steph Curry do his thing live in person, it's definitely a different feeling than watching it on TV.
That the average person doesn't know about Sam Darnold that you can share?
I don't know what people don't or do know about him, but I'd say like his toughness to me is something that I don't think gets a lot of credit for. But just knowing kind of the stuff that he went through in New York and then in Carolina, and to be able to just keep his head down and continue to work as hard as he did, showed a lot of perseverance, determination, toughness, all that.
The second time in 3 years you've been with the team and Sam arrives. What did he do in Carolina to just kind of get acclimated and make himself part of that team?
Just did his job, and he was himself. He did everything the coaches asked him to do, and he was himself, and that's all you really can ask for.
Teams show the propensity to take a big swing when they need to. They did it with Trent. They did it with you. They did it when they traded up for Trey. And I don't think a lot of people had him getting Hargrave. What did you think when the Hargrave addition came in offseason?
Definitely happy we don't have to play against him. He's a stud. He's a guy who, obviously has had a lot of success in his career, and just adding another piece to the defense obviously helps.
The fact that the team is willing to take those big swings, does that energize the team, you think?
For sure, yeah. I mean, I think everybody knows where our head is at, and from the top down, we know what we want to accomplish and where we want to go.
It's obviously part of the deal, but you've lost a lot of free agents, a lot of key guys this offseason. Have you felt that in the locker room? Has it been a little bit different, kind of reacclimating without some of those guys?
It's always the tough part of this game is seeing guys go. But, no, I mean, we're all still so tight. Our core guys are still amazing. And, it's part of the process. It's part of the offseason is reacclimating and getting everybody in line for one common goal.
Really experienced coaches working with the running backs here with Coach Land and Coach Turner. Is that different than anything that you've previously encountered in your career, and how does that kind of communication pattern work in the room? How much have you gotten from both of them?
Yeah, I've gotten a lot. This has been, the most fun I've had in a meeting room in my career. These guys are so detailed on every single thing. I could sit there and listen to Coach Turner for hours on end because, he coaches the X's and O's and beyond the X's and O's, and it's honestly an honor to be in that meeting room, and I think all of us running backs feel that way. And Coach Lynn, who has head coach experience, knows the whole offense, so you're constantly getting, pointers from not just the H but the X, all these different positions, and understanding the full dynamic of the play, not just our job and moving on. And so it's been a lot of fun to learn. I've approached it as if I'm a rookie again and just learn from square one.
Your interaction.
Congratulations on your engagement. I was curious how that all went. Was that the most nervous you've ever been in your life?
I appreciate it. Definitely nervous. It's a different kind of nervous. But yeah, I was definitely nervous, and yeah, she said yeah. I tricked her into saying yeah, so that was good, and now I'm fired up about it. Thank you.
That's a tough one to follow. But, what was your interaction like with Steve Wilkes, and what are the coordinators getting in the new defensive coordinator?
Yeah, Coach Wilkes is awesome. I think, I could talk about Coach Wilkes a lot and just the type of man he is, but, it says a lot to see how all the Panthers players reacted to him and them vouching for him to get the head job. That's a testament to who he is, and that explains a lot about not just the coach he is, but the guy he is. So happy he's on our side.
John Lynch said that Brock has been really positive and just working it every day. Have you seen that from him as well?
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, Brock, like I said, I think everybody talked about it last year and who Brock is, but yeah, it's no surprise now that he's a guy who he's going to show up to work every day with a positive attitude and do his job at the best of his ability, and he's done just that. So it's been good seeing him and seeing how hard he's working. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
Reaction when, where were you and what was your reaction when Javon Hargrave signed?
Yeah, where was I? I was probably at home, jumping up and down on my bed. I mean, that was just huge. I had no idea. They kind of kept that one pretty under wraps, and when it came out, I mean, that's as huge of a get. I think he was probably the top free agent on the market regardless of position. So, he's going to make a huge impact for our defense.
Opportunity to spend some time with him?
Yeah, we spent some time last week together. I was just kind of asking him how his route was, being on different teams, like how his body was feeling going into, I think it's year 8. And so, he's just excited to be a part of the team. And he knew he wanted to go somewhere where he was going to win right away. That was important to him, and that just shows you the type of guy that he is.
You study other defenses, and more specifically, if you watched his film, how much did you see him kind of impact what the Eagles were able to do around him?
Yeah, I mean, all year long, you're keeping up with the top defenses in the league, right? You want to know like how your defense stacks up against the best. That was something that we looked at all year, and the Eagles were up there every week, and it was because of that front four, front five, guys rotating in and out, and Javon was right there in the middle causing havoc the whole way through. I've seen stats of how many QB pressures he had by himself, and it's kind of just like it's mind-boggling, just to add that to a position of need for us. So I know he's going to make a big impact.
What's your first impressions of Steve Wilkes been?
He fits right in. It's been a seamless transition. He's come in and he's taken a hold of everything, and we all respect the heck out of him already, as our coach. The type of guy that he is, you could tell that he genuinely cares about his players. It's important for him to build those relationships with us. and we're starting at ground zero again. Everything we've done in the past is behind us. It's a new year, a new opportunity, and I think that's what's exciting. And I know Steve's going to do an amazing job getting us ready.
He's going to use the things that y'all do well and then just kind of go from there.
Yeah, I think that's something that was important for, bringing a new coach in that I guess he is willing to learn what we do, and obviously adjust things to what he believes is going to make us better. You know, that's his job, is making us the best defense and continuing to raise the bar. And I know he has high expectations for us. He's coming in just a super humble guy, super humble, ready to get to work, and we're all feeding off of that same exact energy.
You a draft fan? Do you like watch the draft? And
Of course.
put people in slots?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, every year you see guys who are rookies who make a huge impact, and you never know how big of a role certain guys are going to play in that given year. But the draft is where, you know, guys like me, third-round draft pick, come in and develop, become, you know, key players for the team. And so every year I love to see who's going to be the next one up.
For anybody? Do you petition for anybody?
No petitioning. I feel like the further and further away I get from the college game, it's hard for me to keep up with who's coming in and out of the draft, especially past like the first 5 or 10 picks that you might hear about in social media or on TV or something. But you know, I know John and Kyle and all those guys, they do such a good job of finding guys that fit what we do, fit our culture. Obviously, you want the best football players, but you want guys who obviously fit what we do as well.
Do you remember what people said about you, and in retrospect, was it fair?
I for sure remember. I for sure remember everything. It was fair though. I think that's their job. You know, guys, that's everybody's job during this process, is to try to break guys down, see what they do well, see what they need to work on. I was a project. You know, I was coming in positionless, basically. You know, just a raw athlete ready to be molded, and so I came into the perfect situation.
The guys like you in this building, 3rd round, 5th round, 7th round, whatever, that have had a big impact. What is it about this place? Why do you think it works out? And do you preach that to these guys that come in, like, hey, look at me, look what I did?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not even like the poster of what guys can become. You've seen guys who, even in later rounds, who've done a whole lot more than I've done. I think the important thing to always remember is it doesn't matter where you're drafted or even undrafted. You know, once you arrive on a team, it's all about what you do going forward. You know, everybody's looked at the same. What you do in between those white lines is what really matters, and what you're going to be judged on. You know, I was told early on by Coach Sala that, you know, you hold the pen to your story. You know, whatever you want your legacy to be, you are in full control of that every single day that you step in just on the facility grounds, and especially on the field. But, you know, you never let somebody else hold the pen for you.
What does John Gibson returning do for your defense?
It's huge, obviously, with the amazing talent and player that he is, which he showed again last year, but also in the aspect of being a leader, a seasoned veteran for that room. You know, especially losing some guys in free agency, but just kind of having that veteran leadership presence in that back four.
The line on Wilkes is that he's not going to change much, but have you gotten a sense on whether he's going to change anything? I mean, will there be wrinkles, things in the back end that are different?
I'm sure time will tell. You know, the fact that he has that background of coaching defensive backs and you know, really being involved in that part of it. I know he wants to be hands-on with those guys and tidying things up in the back end. Just from kind of seeing things this first couple weeks of OTAs, I know he wants us to be more aggressive. That's kind of been the thing, like, as I've been here more, like, and grown in the system and seeing it progress, you see that we want to be more and more aggressive in the front seven. So, you know, like I said, time will tell.
John, like he was talking about, you're trying to identify guys in the draft that have the right football spirit that, you know, are going to play hard. I mean, all the cliches, it seems like, you know, everyone's going to be like that. But your interactions with the Niners before the draft, I don't know, do you remember anything specifically as far as them trying to identify, does this guy love football? Does this guy, you know, play his ass off, all that stuff?
Sure. Let me just say, I would never want to be a GM or a college scout, because I'm like, I don't get how you can, you know, you handpick these cats out of all these different schools all over the country to, like, and you're saying that this guy's going to turn into something, you know, like, and it's all like projections, you know, you don't really know until they come here, and you know, and you try to develop them, and There's so many different things that go into account of a guy's development, but I think in terms of when they brought me in, just really sitting me down and having these conversations of like, not even just all about football, but just you want to like just talk to a kid face to face, like, because obviously you see it, you write up these reports about him, you watch them on tape, and then you want to know like, all right, well, when I sit down with a man to man, like what's that conversation like, you know? And so you can usually get a good vibe about if a guy's just kind of, you know, has lines written down, he's kind of just rehearsing them, or if he's like being genuine about what he's saying. But even then, it's like it's all words. You know, you can say whatever you want. It's what you do though. When what matters, that's what matters most. Cool.
Good. Yeah. Got a little wet in Florida, but we're good now. So.
To the off-season program, you're more entrenched now. You got a long-term contract. You kind of put a little bit more on your plate as far as leadership and just having more of a presence in the locker room.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, just being on a multi-year deal, I think you can definitely take more ownership in the team, but it's kind of also just part of the center position. You know, you have to be that vocal leader in the offensive line room, and I feel like I've done that last season. I'll just continue to do it going forward.
A lot of candidates to be the backup center, to get some work at center this offseason. What can you say about some of the young guys, Nick Zakelj, Jason Poe, Keith? I mean, what's that group looking like?
They're all really good players. You know, I feel like we have a lot of depth in the room at every single position. I feel like obviously there's some that are older than others and have a little bit more experience, but even the young guys like Poe and Zakelj, I think they do a really good job of taking coaching and understanding what the coaches are asking them to do, and then, you know, just making sure to, you know, look at the guys in front of them and try and emulate that as much as they can, and hopefully one day they'll get their shot to be on the field.
Being that you lined up on the opposite side of him fairly recently, what was your reaction when you signed Hargrave?
Oh, it was awesome. You know, you always want that type of guy on your team. You know, the guy, he definitely made it hard to game plan the Eagles, and it was definitely a hard time blocking him. So I feel like whenever you have a guy like that on your defensive line, it just adds to the value as a whole.
As someone who played next to Spencer Burford, what makes him a promising young player?
I mean, he has all the measurables, right? Like, if you look at the guy, he's just built to play offensive line. And then also, you know, I feel like he has a good head on his shoulders, and he can really, you know, get things done, make the proper decisions he has to make, and execute, you know, the job that he has at hand. So, you know, I feel like it's really onwards and upwards for that guy.
You had to wait a long time for the opportunity you got last year. Was that the time at which you were ready, or do you feel like your first, whatever it was, 5-6 seasons in the league, you were ready, but you just didn't get the opportunity?
You know, I'd like to say that I was ready my entire career, but looking back, I probably wasn't my first couple years. But also just being able to work with Coach Furster for so long and being able to be in his system and his type of offensive line, I feel like every single year I was in that room and in that system, I feel like I progressed heavily. So, you know, in my honest opinion, I feel like I was ready to start probably in 2018. But, you know, just having the opportunity to do it last year and have my career get extended another 4 years, especially with a great team, I feel like that's just, you know, something I'm very fortunate of.
You're a good coach. Sorry, go ahead.
Zakelj is a candidate to be at right tackle. What have you seen from him? What do you think he has in his arsenal to be able to take over that position?
So he's got great strength and great balance. You know, I feel like he's you know, physically he's got all the attributes to get the job done. And then now it's just, can you go out there and can you execute you know, the technique that coaches want him to execute. You know, he's you know, I feel like he has everything that they want from him, and now it's just time for him to go out there and get it done.
Chris Forrest was a lot of fun to interview. He gives very detailed, transparent answers. What makes him a good coach? Like, what do you like about working with him?
So he's kind of one of the originators of his type of offensive line play. He's not a just grinded out type of guy. He gives you tools and gives you techniques to get the job done that make it easier for us and also easier for him to get the offensive line moving and the run game going. So I feel like he's really unlocked the ability and the technique used to have great success in the NFL, in the run game and also in the pass game. So, just being able to, have a guy like that in the room teaching us kind of what he wants, but also what the league wants to get the job done. And, it's transferable across the league, what he's teaching. So it's great.
Is the draft something that interests you as a fan? Do you watch it, pay attention to it, or do you just kind of shut it out?
Now it's definitely interesting for sure. When I was kind of floating around the league, it wasn't really something I paid attention to, and also I was kind of bitter not being drafted back when it was my time. But now it's definitely interesting to kind of watch and see the ins and outs of each team and how they choose the players that they choose.
Do you remember what people said about you? Did it burn in your memory what you saw on reports and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, words are words. I knew the truth, the entire time, regardless of what people were saying. It just didn't work out for me on draft day, but it's fine. It worked out for me now. So.
Why do you find it more interesting now? Is it like competitive reason, like who you might be up against, or is it just an overall landscape of the NFL thing?
I think it's just kind of interesting to see the business side of, where I work and what I do. I feel it's, having the ability to see where the future is with the team that you're on and kind of what they're investing in and where they think they need to, to add to the team is just something that's, it's worth paying attention to.
An example of what Coach Förster has done for you individually, just projecting forward and being technique-wise.
So, like a lot of centers will be asked to hole set, which is something that you basically just back up off the line of scrimmage on almost every single pass play. And that gives the defensive line basically a 5 foot to 6 foot head start to just run as fast as they can out of their stance right at you. And yeah, that works. I mean, it works for a lot of players and it works for a lot of teams, but Coach Förster having the square back and over square set for the centers really allows us to stay pretty tight to the line, but also put us in a good position where if there's a TT game or if there's a pirate by the 3-tech or whatever it is by the defensive line, that's something that we're in a good position, but we're not giving away depth of the pocket for no reason.
As far as the draft, you guys who work out here ever kind of bump into guys who are here on 30 visits, and do you interact with them? And if you do you then kind of go on to YouTube and look at what those guys can do in college and stuff like that?
That's probably something that gets done. I've never been a guy to work out or in the off season where I work, just because I like South Florida and I like trying to get away a little bit. But yeah, I mean, obviously there would be a draw to that if you brush up against a rookie or somebody coming into the draft that looks impressive or obviously your team is invested in, just to kind of see their background and what type of player they are.
Having a lot of familiar faces back in the building, what's the energy and just outlook of the team heading into this off-season program?
I think it's really optimistic. I feel like a lot of people are happy to be back and ready to get to work. And I missed last week just because I was dealing with the flooding down in Fort Lauderdale, but I feel like I haven't really skipped a beat at all. And people are really ready to just hopefully go on another run like we did the last 2 seasons. So.
Did that flooding, did that impact your gym or anything? And did you see Bosa down there at all?
I saw Bosa. Yeah, he's doing great. But I feel like not to get too personal, but there's a lot of homes that got touched with water. We had 2 of them, which sucked. But it's just something that people see on the news, and obviously they have a lot of personal value to their house and they lose a bunch of items, but it's pretty crazy to go through something like that.
You don't work out at his gym, do you?
No, that's an exclusive, access-only workout facility. I think there's two people that work out there, so, yeah. And you know who they are. Yeah.
Couple more for Jake. Benny? All right, Jake, all good.
Thank you.
Good.
What was your first reaction on the first day of the new league year when you found out that Javon Hargrave was going to be lining up beside you?
Super excited. Didn't know that was going to happen, so it was a shock and a surprise, but a great shock and a great surprise. I think we complement each other very well, and definitely excited to play alongside of him. And now we have a Javon and a Javon, so excited to play next to both of them.
Spoken?
The way that you guys complement each other, how would you describe that?
Yeah, I just think it's going to be tough for people to block, a 6'8" guy and then have to block I don't know his exact height, but yeah. So I think it's just going to be tough on guards to game plan for both of us, and I think I'm really excited. I think we complement each other very well. Two different types of players, but I think it's going to be great lining up inside with him.
You guys already had conversations about what your potential could be?
No, not really. He was here, so I got a chance to meet him first day OTAs, and so just getting to know each other and start working together, and I'm sure a lot of that's going to naturally come about.
How's your health? Did you have to do any cleanups or anything?
No, nothing. Feeling good. So excited about that. Have a healthy off season.
Did Javon remind you of anybody you played next to, DJ Jones or anybody like that in the past?
He's pretty unique, to super explosive, powerful guy. The run and pass game, pretty dynamic player. A guy who, has been in the league for a little minute now, but is always, even as of late, these past couple of years have made a bigger name for himself as a player, and he's known as, one of the best defense tackles in the league. So it's going to be fun playing with him.
Your observation on the new defensive coordinator and D'Amico, you guys obviously liked him, looked up to him. Was a little bit lost, but Wilkes has got a reputation in his own right as well.
Yeah, it's been great so far. I think this is my 5th D coordinator since I've been here. All different in some ways, and I've heard when we hired him, I heard great things about him. One of my best friends, Shaq Thompson, was with him in Carolina, and speaks very highly of him and told me that I was going to love him. And then, ever since I got a chance to meet him and been around him, that's been very true. He's a great leader. And he's looking to come in and not change everything what we're doing, but just add another level and take it up a notch. So I'm excited and excited to get to know him more and excited to play for him.
It's been a while now since you made that move full-time inside. Could you see a possibility of going back and being that face-down guy on the end and then moving inside to rush the passer? Where's your mind at when it would come to that kind of scenario?
That hasn't been discussed. I'll probably be playing inside, but I'm a versatile player and can play anywhere. So you never know. If there was a situation where they needed me to do that, that wouldn't be an issue. But I don't see that. That hasn't been, the plan or discussed.
You guys gathered last week to start the off-season program. Was there a message Kyle or somebody said to kind of be the rallying cry to get you through this after how close you guys have come the last few years?
Not really. I mean, it's good to, get some time away. The season is very long, weighs on you mentally and physically. So it's always good to get some time away and refresh and regroup. And it's always exciting to get back to football. It's not training camp and the season not starting yet, but it's exciting to get back around the guys and, start that journey of, our ultimate goals, which is winning the Super Bowl, which we've been close here, these past few years, and, that's on our mind to get that done.
With some of the departures you guys have had on the D-line, it would seem like there's a big opportunity for Drake Jackson. What have you kind of seen from him, and what are your expectations for his growth going into year two?
Yeah, Drake is a great, talented player. He definitely is going to, have a bigger role this year. We've had some key losses along the D-line, and I'm excited for him and his opportunity this year. He's been working extremely hard this off season and putting himself in the best position possible to be successful. And I think he's going to be a hell of a player for us and have an amazing career. So, this year is going to be a big jump for him, and I'm excited to see it. And we definitely need it.
Assume you're a Kings fan, maybe not. Have you been watching the series?
Yeah, definitely been watching. Definitely rocking with the Kings. So, just so everybody knows that.
Survive without Fox.
Yeah, I just saw that before I came in here. That's tough news. Tough news to hear. It sucks, really. I mean, no, I haven't been in any game. I've been busy with my family, so I got to find some time to make it to a game. I wish. I don't know. I might try to, but I haven't planned to yet. But I might pop up out there.
Farrell bring to your group?
I've known Cleve for some years now. I met him his rookie year. His rookie year, he came and trained with me, actually out here in San Jose. And so I've known him for some years and got a chance to work with him. And, Cleve is a great player. He was a guy that I talked to, the coaches and staff about, a guy that, I think would have been great to bring here just because I know him. I know how hard he works, and I know the type of player he can be if put in a good situation. And I think here is a great situation for him. If you look at some of the past guys that's kind of been in his position that we brought in, they've had some success here, like Arden, Sampson, Charles. A lot of guys have had success in that role, so I'm excited to see it. I know coach is going to put a plan in place for him, and I think it's going to work for his skill set, and I think he's going to have a tremendous year.
Speak to the coaching staff about him.
Well, of course I know him, so in the off season when they're identifying guys, I share my thoughts of what I thought about him, and I have a personal relationship with him, and I know him as a player too. So I thought he would definitely, I thought he would definitely be a good fit here.
Fred Warner has just talked to us about how he would never want to be a general manager or a talent evaluator. Could you see yourself in that role after your career's over?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm done playing. I love football. I love studying my opponents and taking that approach, a mental approach to the game. And I don't know what I'm going to do, but football has changed my life and been an extreme blessing for me. So I don't know if I'll veer off too far from it, but we'll see.
Lynch and Shanahan both talked about wanting to get back the pass rush back to 2019 level. Not that it's been bad, but I mean, have you felt that it hasn't had that same level of dominance, and do you think Hargrave and other additions, or Drake Jackson developing could get back to that?
Well, I mean, it's just been different. Each year is different. 2019, obviously, I would say our D-line was star-studded, a lot of big names, and we played really well. It was the first year, we really had a lot of team success in a long time too. So people also weren't checking for us, and we jumped on a lot of people and surprised a lot of people, really. And I think if you look at ever since 19, I think people they block us differently. They prepare for us in a different way. And so, that just has forced us to continue to develop, what we do up front. And, we've been playing top 5 football since then. And, but it's been in a different way. We've had to add pieces and, create pressure different ways. But it's been a lot of fun figuring that out. And, I think at what they're trying to recreate is just that overwhelming, can't be stopped. And, when someone has a one-on-one, there's guys out there who you don't want to leave one-on-one. And, all of us having those opportunities to go out there and win our matchup. So it's going to be fun.
What's Chris Kocurek and your scheme do to allow guys like Arden, Charles to come in on a 1-year, 2-year deal and flourish like they do?
Well, for one, it's the belief. I think, not just the X's and O's, but, Chris identifying a player that he believes in and instilling that confidence in them and having a plan for them. Sometimes guys can get in the league and, they don't have a plan for you and, you don't go out there and have success right away and people's opinion of you wavers and, that can be tough on a player. But playing for a guy that believes in you and has a plan for you and wants you to be successful and wants to help you in your career, that gives you a sense of confidence and a sense of peace. And then, just the way we play, the style of play, I think is super helpful and beneficial too. Attacking and letting us play free. And then just our DNA of our defense. You want to be attached to our defense because we have a great reputation around the league. When you turn on the tape, other teams want to be a part of that. And so that's why you see guys who play, here and play in our defense going on and get big contracts because of the way we play. The type of player you're going to get when you sign one of us. And that's a big testament to Chris and what he's established here.
You've seen a lot of big-time quarterbacks leave the NFC in the last few years, whether Drew Brees and Tom Brady, and now Aaron Rodgers is off to the Jets officially today. So I'm just kind of curious what your thought, big picture, is on the NFC and how it should be up for grabs.
Yeah, I mean, the AFC has a lot of the young, superstar quarterbacks. So say there might be a shift in the divisions, but I feel it's always going to be those teams that people are sleeping on that pop up. There's going to be some teams in the NFC who haven't been good in a long time that I think are going to be good and competing to make a push and be in the playoffs. So in the off season, a lot of speculation, and teams get hyped up in the off season, and then once you get to week 10 and 11 and 12, then you get to see who the really good teams are and who's going to have a shot to compete for a Super Bowl.
Thanks, Eric.
Yep.
That's it today, guys.
Good to see you guys.